Hey, welcome to the Peet and Reet Show. We got a guest that makes us look like we're really out of shape.
I need to go to the gym now, apparently.
Well known in Buffalo, well known all over Western New York.
And
all
Southern
over
Ontario.
Yeah, Southern Ontario. And Mr. Fitness himself, Richie Derwald.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure.
Sincerely.
You know, we've seen you on TV, radio, magazines, books. I mean, you do look incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And you just had a birthday just a little while ago.
82. I'm 82.
Come on, I don't believe.
And you've got a full head of hair.
Yeah, I'm 82 years old.
Why do you come here and lie on our show?
No, I really, I've been in this fitness thing for, over 65 years. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what have you been up to lately?
I've been very busy. I'm the coordinator right over there in Buffalo. It's the county of Erie County.
Yep.
And I'm the coordinator for the Erie County Senior Fitness Program. I design and I teach and I get volunteers to teach. I train trainers. So right now we're in about, I would say 37, 38 senior centers. And it is although we're only Little Erie County, we're the largest county-sponsored senior fitness program in New York State.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So I'm very happy about that.
Wow.
Now, you're a Buffalo guy from day one.
From day one.
But your family, you're first generation. in
I'm
Buffalo.
first generation. Yeah, my dad came over from Germany, and my mother from Ireland. So.
Beautiful.
You got a wee bit of the Irish in you. You all have a wee bit of the Irish in you.
I do. I do.
Me too.
Yeah. So how did you get into health and fitness? Like, how did that come about?
I think a lot of people that get into athletics do so probably, I wouldn't call it an inferiority complex, but I would call it a desire to be physically better. Okay? Honestly, I couldn't make any of the teams in school. I couldn't make a baseball team, a basketball team.
Really?
No, couldn't do anything. This is right out of the Charles Atlas ads. And it's not so funny. One of the first things they ever had in my hand was a Charles Atlas course, and a magazine, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
You say Charles Atlas, that was the Springs, right?
No,
No?
Charles Atlas was they call dynamic tension.
Okay.
And you would use one muscle against the other. And it was very good. Then it's really funny because they did a really big study a couple years ago. One of the major universities financed by the government, and they says, we found out that people can not even use exercise, they can just use their own body to. That was around since 1928 when Charles Atlas did it. I could have got him a Charles Atlas course for $25, and then they could have saved all that money on the study. It does work. It really does. It's a good place to start. And for a young kid who didn't have a gym or didn't have any equipment, it was a great place to start. But I did. I worked on, even in my first year of high school, I couldn't make any of the teams or anything. But by the time I was 19, I was a professional athlete. You can do that. Everybody can do that. And one of the things that I read at a very early age was transform your body, transform your life. Because the way people react to it and the way you react to the world changes based on your physical being. Mm-hmm. It's very, very important. Because other things got to be in place too. You got to really want it. Believe me, I really wanted it. I
want it for like a month, and then I'm like,
no,
really, you get that far into it?
You got to really, really want it, And believe me,
I want a piece of pie more.
Yeah.
The less pie you eat, though, the less pie you're going to want.
True.
That's a fact.
Okay, so in 1949, you started working out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, was that something that people did, or did
Nobody
you like
did
you were
it.
weird?
I knew. By that time, right after the Charles Atlas, all the thing, I started lifting weights, and there was a point in time when I knew every guy that lifted weights on a first name basis in the entire metropolitan Buffalo.
Wow.
Knew them by a first name.
Wow.
And we're going to come back on the Peet and Reet Show with a father and son tag team reunited to battle the Big Pharma.
Yeah, you hear that battle with Big Pharma, just a couple of guys, but one of them happens to be a good fighter. Right?
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll see that next on the Peet and Reet Show.
It's Pete and
back.
Reet, and we're back with the Richie
Derwald
Derwald
twins.
twins.
It's the Derwald twins.
Mr. Fitness and his son.
The son of fitness in the fat chair.
Well, I mean, you guys look like a couple of wrestlers, man.
Well, we actually were, and
I look like I ate a professional wrestler in the fat chair.
We're going to get back to that.
All right,
A little
yeah.
bit of
Yeah.
stuff there. We're going to get back to that because we're going to be talking about that.
Waiting.
yes, we are.
So we said, put him in the fat chair. No, we didn't. You said that.
No, you said that.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yes,
And
we
you didn't
did.
even give me a
Never say
matching
that.
cup
No, you know why? Because
know.
you don't get the cup, you don't get the mug until
because
you...
I'm in the fat chair.
No,
and
because-
until I get out of the fat chair,
Yes.
I can't get a Pete
That's
Reed.
Yeah,
right.
we're going to talk about it in a
Can I
bit.
get a Pete Reed? Okay, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
We'll talk later about that. Right now, we're going to talk about fitness because Mr. Fitness is in the house. And
I have to keep sucking in my gut. I sit right beside him.
yeah, me too.
I thought you said this was water. No. Okay.
Well, no, I said it was a Lexer.
Oh, all right.
Mr. Fitness pulled a funny.
Now, so you were talking about Charles Atlas at the last segment,
Yes.
right? I always thought, in my generation, that it was Jack LaLanne that was like Mr. Fitness.
Yeah, I
of
did
all
too.
time.
But that would be natural. That would be, most people do kind of look at LaLanne as the guy who started, the father of fitness. But actually, Jack LaLanne was a student of somebody who's I've idolized my entire life, which is Bernard McFadden. McFadden really started the fitness movement in this country. And Bernard McFadden influenced a guy by the name of Paul Bragg. Do you ever look at buy apple cider vinegar?
Yeah.
And it's
Bragg's.
called Bragg.
Yeah.
That's Paul Bragg's daughter, and he started the company. Paul Bragg did. He was a student of McFadden, and Jack LaLanne was a student of Bragg. That's how this whole little tree works itself down. If you're going to make a chart, McFadden sits on top.
So he was in the 1920s, right?
He was in the 20s, 30s, 40s. He actually died in the 50s. His name has been completely obliterated. And I just want to tell you one thing. Thank you. And I mean this sincerely. Thanks for having me on, because I've tried to do this documentary. I thought I had a lot of friends. Do you ever try and you think you have a lot of friends? And you,
Sure.
I mean, people who like maybe are in the insurance or the health business, they say, oh, yeah, that's good, Rich. What are you going to do? I said, I want to do a story about this.
Now, what we're going to do is we'll key in on what the story is, because in the 1920s, McFadden was actually all about health. He had discovered evidence that pharmaceutical companies way back then were covering up information about the type of lifestyle you should lead, about doing fitness, and the next thing you know, this guy disappeared. His books weren't delivered by the U.S. Postal Service, and he basically, everything that he had in stores was
Wiped
gone.
out.
He was wiped out
That's
totally.
true. I'm
Wow.
surprised you even know the story. That's actually true.
Well, I
And
just sent him the outline.
he was as a publisher, he was as big as William Randolph Hearst.
Wow.
Wow.
How do you take a name like that?
And get rid of it.
No, he started True Confessions magazine, True Story, True Detective. He was a tremendous publisher, and he outsold Hearst quite a few years. They were battling back and forth. I don't know how you can expunge his name from all the history, but they have successfully done it. And, I've taken up, I guess we all have our little crusades in life, and I've kind of taken up this crusade. I'm going to let everybody know who this guy is.
Yeah, so I want to bring it together. So when you were talking about how you're losing friends and stuff like that, what's happening here is, let's say the words, conspiracy theorist. That's the problem. But you see, that's the label people out there who run the world
Right.
put on you to make you look like
Yeah.
you're a freak. As opposed to
Yeah.
a person who's researching and saying, I've got this information.
Actual documentation, actual proof that this happened.
And I do have it.
Yeah.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I do have
And,
it. I have all of his files.
Has
I
this
came
been
with all of them.
happening since like 1910?
1910, and it's a very long, and we haven't got time here, but there was in 1910, and I'll try and do this in 2 minutes or less, there was a report called the Flexner Report, which was commissioned by the Rockefeller Foundation, and they went through and they closed all the medical schools that didn't teach that the answer to all pathological systems and diseases was pharmaceutical medicine. And the reason they wanted it this way was because the Rockefellers were going in, they had Standard Oil, and a lot of the pharmaceuticals had oil extracts and everything that they were using. And there's an old saying that he who pays the piper calls the tune.
So
Yeah,
true. So
yeah.
true.
So now you've written a lot of articles.
I have.
On McFadden.
Yes.
You started on a documentary some 10 years ago.
Yes.
And then you kind of
Right, that's
stopped.
right,
And
exactly.
So I mean, you started it, and now you're starting it again. So why and why? Why'd you start it? Why'd you stop?
Oh, I
it?
started because I thought people were going to gravitate to this. It's just like a 1930s Hollywood movie. I mean, he's a kid that his mother and dad died when he was 12. His father was a raging alcoholic. They took him into an orphanage. He ran away from the orphanage. He lived with Indians. I mean, this is all true.
Wow.
I mean, and it's a true story.
Dad wrote a script, a whole movie script about
And
it.
of course, Hollywood
Wow.
wouldn't want that, right?
Well,
No, but you know,
no, but they still want to brush it under the carpet. probably.
right? Because no, really, it wouldn't
Until
be.
now.
No,
Da-da-da-da.
there's a thing called sponsors that you don't want to mess around with, you know. And the pharmaceutical lobby is very, very strong. But his story in itself is a tremendous story. It's a tremendous story of the rags to riches. You know what we can do in a democratic society. But unfortunately, in a democratic society, there's also things called lobbyists and other powers that can sink you, and that's exactly what happened to him.
I want to find out when we come back, like, what if you've been hassled just trying to do this at all.
And I want to find out why you left what you do and are hopping on board for this documentary when we come back on the Peet and Reet Show.
You won't believe it, your head will explode.
We are back on the final segment of the Peet and Reet Show with the Derwalds. You know, this story, and we're not even touching the tip of the iceberg. We're
yeah.
just
No,
shaved a
we're
little
not.
piece off on what's going on.
It's
Yeah.
been a long break.
We talked about a lot of things.
And you were talking about, pharmaceutical companies and all that. Are you afraid for yourself with all this information on McFadden that somebody's going to come after you?
No, not really. I'm not afraid of that. But you're dealing with some pretty powerful people, and I don't want to make it an us and them or a conspiracy theory or anything else. But there are some facts, and the facts are there are foods and there are different things that could replace pharmaceutical drugs for some things. But I just want to go on record as saying one thing: the medical profession, the great things that they've done with stem cells. I mean, only a fool would say that the doctors are against us or anything like that. However, there is a disease that's festering within the profession, and it seems to be a chronic disease, and that is pharmaceutical drugs.
Well, you know, it's safe to say that, I mean, when money's involved, and we're talking about huge, massive amounts of money that you can say the word billion, but you can't really, or trillion, you can't imagine it. That is just tons of money. And when you get that kind of money moving around, there has to be a push towards, I mean, I know, you know, my wife who was a nurse will tell you, there's a place for pharmaceuticals. When you get off baseline, you've got to be brought back, and then you got to get into a healthy lifestyle
Absolutely.
and work out.
Absolutely.
And that's a fact. When you start pushing the limit, and you're going to be, I got to take this for this and this for this, and we're going to get into your daughter who passed away, who was taking a lot of opioids at the time. But first, I want to talk to you and say,
me.
yep, this guy is a famous guy, known right across the United
It's
States of
only
America.
because we hung out in the 90s, Pete.
That's right. And we said,
that
yeah, was it that long ago? Holy
Yeah, it was.
You've done lots.
That
You've
was-
been to Vegas, all over North America.
Yeah.
You are Dr. Quack.
Dr.
I
Quack.
am
He's
Dr.
Dr.
Quack,
Quack.
and I gotta say, well, that was quite the experience. Now, you guys know the ups and downs to live TV
Yeah.
and no script.
Yeah. Yep. You know what? Dr. Quack, no matter what, I'll tell you something. If you look it up on the internet, I laugh my butt off. And I know it's you, but I kill myself watching that all the time. Kill myself. Now, you also have a great stage show that you put together. You do all kinds of people with your beautiful wife. Debbie.
Oh, and my kids.
Yeah, and your kids are in there now, too.
Kids,
Yes.
Superstars Live. You can go to superstarslive.com and see videos and explosions.
Great singing. So,
Okay.
so now all of a sudden, all that you've taken all that off the board right now, and you got into this documentary that was killed, started 10 years ago and killed. And then why?
It was just killed all because of money, right?
Yeah.
So basically, as you know, Pete, I'm also a producer, and I have a crew on a ridiculous web show that's more therapeutic than anything else called Uncle Richie's No Budget Funhouse, and I'm taking my Funhouse crew, and we're gonna make Dad's documentary. It's not about money. It is a lifelong quest. As you heard earlier, there's this big secret story about this documentary that can't be revealed yet, but it's
supernatural.
It's supernatural. Yes, it is.
And it will be revealed on the Peet and Reet show.
And it will. And am I lying when I say this secret is bigger than life itself? It is just this huge astronomical thing, and nobody's going to understand how we have all this information on Bernard McFadden and all the amazing things that he did. But actually, I digress. You guys were talking about opiates. And I gotta say that now Pete knows from the past that I'm addicted to everything that gives me pleasure. All right. When I was in the hospital, I was having heart problems. Of course, now I'm 30 pounds overweight. I have a
30.
Okay, shh. Okay. I have a
We'll
great
get into that later.
I have a great. I come over to my dad's house, dear old dad. You know, I go to Dad's house. I said, Dad, I'm having these terrible heart problems. Like, look at how fat you are. Get on the scale. Did you not get on the scale?
I did.
Get on the scale. So he forced me to get on
That's
the
out of
scale.
love, though.
What's that?
That's out of love.
Yes, concern.
It's very. It was like a cartoon caricature of my father. Get on the scale. So basically, I got on the scale. It was horrifying, and then I stopped getting on the scale, so I gained more weight. I'm up to 230 pounds right now. I mean, I'm way beyond being able to fit in my Elvis suit. I mean, there was like a point where like, okay, I'm fat Elvis, I'm a little bulgy. Now you just can't get that turkey in the slot. You know, it just can't go in jumpsuits don't grow on trees. You know, so
And we thought that was actually the gobbler, but it was your
I
stomach.
know.
Oh, it's all pushed up here.
It's so funny that I'm fat, isn't it, Pete?
Oh, no, no.
You're not fat. You're just.
I come to you batted up like a big a fat turkey. And speaking of Dr. Whack, I'm wearing my atomic helmet of hair.
Yes,
here,
you
which is
are.
like the Aquabats, the
Yeah.
anti-negativity helmet. And it's like I leave the house today. I'm excited. I'm going on the Peet and Reet show. As Reet knows, I got a little autograph for my daughter Jada. She loves you. She thinks you're adorable.
Love you too.
She's 10. She's 10.
Oh, what a
Good
sweetie.
taste, that girl.
Great taste, that girl. And but here's what happened. I ended up in the hospital with the heart pain. So get on the scale. And then in the hospital, I got put on painkillers. And because I'm so addicted to everything that gives me pleasure, I was able to befriend somebody and actually get more medication
More
to
pleasure.
take with me. More pleasure. I had like a 9-day supply. It was gone. And what had happened is right now it is at the point where, as we said, no, we didn't say anything. This is us talking on the break. We're going to talk about my sister coming up.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just a matter of I've got to do something to change my life, which comes McFadden's program, Transform Your Body, Transform Your Life. But the first thing that I felt that I had to do is I actually entered an addiction program. Because I
Good
just
for
got to
you.
get rid of anything that resembles. And folks, let me tell you something. I have a lot of friends. I've been blessed with a lot of people around me. And everybody thinks it's only opiates or opioids that you should work out. No, there's other pills out there. They're called benzos, right? They're benzos. They get you high too. And you get addicted to a benzos too. So it's not just opiates that are dangerous. There's a lot of pharmaceutical products out there that you have to watch out for. And I just want to clear something up. I know a lot of wonderful doctors out there. I am by no way, shape, or form attacking the medical profession. He is, but I'm not.
I'm not attacking.
Hey, no, I want to clarify something,
No.
too. When we talk
Yeah.
about people being fat,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, for me personally, I've always judged people by who they were. And,
Exactly.
and people say, well, I'm overweight or I'm
Exactly.
this. I don't pay attention to that. I know I'm overweight. Definitely got to lose some weight. But
He's so bloated.
like, she used to be 165 pounds heavier. She was 2 more people than she is
Wow.
right now.
No, I didn't know
I've
that.
seen a picture. You have a picture, don't you?
Yes.
Wow.
But it was a choice
Congratulations.
for health. If you're happy, things are going good.
That's great.
You're healthy, but it's health we're
When
talking
you
about.
can't
here, right?
walk
Right.
up the stairs and you have to go one step at a time, or you can't bend over and tie up your shoes, it's time to do something different.
I'm
I
not
can't
gonna
even teach my little guys. I have 5-year-old boys, and I can't teach them how to wrestle because I'm out of breath. And it's
And you don't want to
embarrassing.
land on them.
No.
Oh my God, no.
Thank you for really putting the fat part
You know,
in there.
guys, we got to
Don't
go
wanna
to
land
we got to go
lard
another
ass.
quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about your sister. When we come back, and your daughter. Okay?
Thank you.
When we come back on the Peet and Reet Show.
It's Pete and Reet, and we're back with Richie Jr. talking about
The son of fitness, right?
Exactly. The challenge. You mentioned a challenge.
Yes, I am under the Mr. Fitness challenge here, and what's going to happen is we're going to take videos of my progress and my challenges to the new me, and we talked on the break. We're going to basically only film those to send them into the Pete and Reet show.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And your challenge is not only weight-wise, but everything-wise?
Everything-wise.
Everything all the way across the board. I basically, at this point in my life, I turned 50 years old, and I want to reimagine my life. I want, it's kind of halftime now, and what I'm doing is I'm planning for the second half of my life, and I've got some great people around me who you'll meet. I got my friend Marcia McWilson, Robbie Raw, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Robbie's great.
But anyways, we have some wonderful people on the way that you'll meet through these segments.
I mean, have a look at this guy. Okay,
I know, Dad. You're in charge. You're the ringmaster. You're the puppet master here.
Oh,
so,
you may regret that.
I regret it already.
So let's touch briefly again
All right.
on the story that we're talking about here, and we're talking about we're going back to 1910 when pharmaceutical companies were seeing some money and going, we got to cover up some stuff, and people are talking about fitness and lifestyle, which can give you longevity without taking pills.
Exactly.
Needs to be hidden. And so now we go to your daughter, Kathy, who died a few years back.
Yeah, that was tragic. There's some things, as that are very, very hard. And losing a child is the hardest thing of all.
I can't even imagine.
I think that Kathy did take things. I know she probably took a little speed to help her lose some weight. She took painkillers, different things.
Dad, you have to keep in mind that her doctor was like Elvis's doctor. I mean, come on.
Well,
look at all the prescription
following
drugs
her
we saw
death,
there.
her doctor lost his license for a year. When we saw,
Oh, the poor guy.
we saw the things that she
Feels
was
terrible
taking.
for him.
I don't know how she even got through the day. If she could make it through all those bottles, the little brown bottles that she was taking, and then she was having some stomach issues. No wonder. And she went for a
Absolutely.
colonoscopy. Although that's should be an easy procedure, it's not. It takes a lot out of you. And I think then she progressed to take some other stuff when she got home, and it caused her death. To be perfectly honest with you, her little heart. I say her little heart. She was thin, and she was worried about her weight all the time, and it was probably the most terrible thing. We've all had losses in our life. That was the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody, as you would think.
And it wasn't from
as you
street
know.
drugs. It was from pharmaceutical drugs
Yeah,
that she was prescribed.
She has to reiterate
Yeah.
that. She didn't buy it from some guy in a dark alley. She
Yeah.
got it from a guy in a white
Although,
coat.
actually, I might trust the guy in the dark alley more because saying, these drugs are going to get you high,
Yeah.
but the doctor's saying, these drugs will make you mentally better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so the drug dealer in the
That's-
alleyway is actually more truthful.
That's
right.
the
So
scary
sorry.
part.
I
Is you
got
go
it.
to a doctor thinking, okay, get this, and they're giving you the prescription thinking, oh, it'll make you better,
And they
but
weaken you.
But it doesn't make you better. It masks what the problem is.
And something else, I'm in senior centers every day, and some of the people have actually assumed zombie-like qualities from their doctors and all the things that they're taking. I sincerely believe, I just want to say this one thing, if I may.
Yes, you may.
60% of everything that's wrong with everybody is self-induced. We are victims of our own lifestyle.
Yeah.
You could cut healthcare costs in the U.S. and Canada by more than 50% if people just drop things that they're doing that are hurting them. And one of the things, of course, is opioids and things along that line, and too much of excesses, okay? But that's a fact. And that's what I think that McFadden tried to teach.
And again, we're not blaming doctors.
No,
for-
no.
I'm seeing doctors right now who, and in fact, even in I'm going into for addictions, and these trained professionals are there to get my life back on track. But they couldn't do anything if you don't have the right attitude towards it. So if you do have the right attitude, and you know what? I just want to say this. Don't be afraid. You just have to tell people. You have to communicate with people, because this society makes a person who has a drug addiction problem look like a criminal. Well, you're not a criminal. You have an addiction. Tell somebody about it. Take care of it.
Yeah, and I think, and you can see that in your family, obviously you had addictive tendencies. You have it.
Of course,
Your sister had
yeah.
it, okay? He has it. Okay, and I've known you guys for a long
He's
time.
addicted to fitness.
No, but this is what he did is he redirects
I did.
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
addiction.
In a good way.
And that's the key
Yeah.
is redirecting your addiction.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's kind of what the documentary, because I have all this energy, all this creative energy, and why not put it behind a guy? I know his heart's in the right place. Come on. Okay? Come on.
And
The
it's a-
guy's
it's a
heart in the
healthy
right
one.
place.
Yes.
And he actually wants to make a documentary that may change and actually help people to change their lives so they can reimagine their lives and they can go through this transformation and actually have a better second half of their life than they did in their first half.
So when do you figure the
That's
documentary?
good.
When could they
is-
possibly see the documentary?
I'll tell you what I would like to do sitting here, because you guys are absolutely great. I'm not just
I'd
saying
like to
this.
go out and drink with you guys.
Yeah, we're
Let's do it. Okay, gotta go.
I think we already started.
Hey, there's nothing like the Peet and Reet elixir to get you through
No,
the
but
show.
it's
Right, that's right.
fantastic stuff. Anyway, and I know you have a production company,
Yes.
and I know you produce stuff.
We
So
sure do.
why don't we produce the premiere when it's ready?
Oh, that would be our
Oh, they
pleasure.
should host it, right?
Host it and produce it. Yes,
You know what?
and
Don't give Pete any more production
all right,
jobs.
wait, and no,
He's
but
slaving
what
over
I'm
here
going to
with
do, in
this.
case we didn't make it clear, Richie's got to start, and I want him to start in front of your entire audience.
My fat son is going to expose himself to you.
Okay? And
All right.
I will send in his progress to you on film clips. And
Fantastic.
perhaps you
Absolutely.
just take a little break. They won't be long, I promise.
Because that's inspiring to people
All right.
to see the change.
Yes.
All right, God bless you both.
Both, yes,
It's been a pleasure being
absolutely.
here. Thank you for coming
Thank you.
by.
Thrill.
Thank you
It's
so
thrill.
much.
Can't believe on our show, the Pete and Reet
Right.
Show, the Derwald twins are here today. Right?
Thank you.
Derwald. We will see you next time. God bless you all on the Pete and Reet Show. We look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you.
That was awesome, guys.
Okay.
Wild and crazy. So what's on the agenda now? When's the shoot date?
Oh,
Dad's got a lot of it done.
Really?
He's actually shown it at a theater.
Yes.
It's just an old
in Dansville, New York. It's an old style documentary. I'm 82 years old. I think my view of things
I
is
said
not,
he was young.
is not
Did you ever see
contemporary.
the documentary Fat, Sick, and Almost Dead? How the guy kind of talks into the camera. There's a lot of GoPro kind of stuff
Yeah.
going on. I want to basically, as a producer, only just capture this guy's personality.
Yeah.
He's the real deal. Just capture his real personality.